Hi everyone, welcome back to Mouth in the Matter. My name is Titi and you are watching a section of this show called Webtoon Watch. And I do have to apologize. It has been a minute. School has really been kicking my ass, but I'm back now and we're ready to go. So the regular format of these things goes in I talk about the plot, I talk about the characters, I talk about my likes and dislikes, then I give a rating, I say my final thoughts. Before the rating, I give my theory, then a rating, then final thoughts. So going right into it, this week's webtoon pick is Annarasumanara. It's quite a mouthful. Annarasumanara by a creator called Ha Il-kwon. I'm going straight into this. So the plot is about this girl called Yunai who has always wanted to be a magician when she was younger, but then that dream slowly faded away as she got like faced with the realities of what life is and her responsibilities as well. And then one day she meets this magician, and yeah, so that's it. That's all you get. Very spoiler free. I'm about to go into the characters now. Okay, so the first one, our main character Yunai. Okay, she's this girl. She's very dependable, very hardworking. She's a realist. She's incredibly smart, very good at school as well. She works incredibly hard. Her parents left. I think her mom died and her dad like fled from his debts, leaving her and her little sister, and she has to work jobs to sustain herself, basically to live, sustain herself and her sister. And then we have L, or the magician. He's this really mysterious guy who like teaches Yunai magic and helps her out in pinches and stuff, and we get introduced to him by rumors that he's crazy or he's insane, and yeah. And then we have Ildong, who's this, again, I'm sorry about my pronunciations, please like put a timestamp and tell me how to pronounce them. He's a very straight-laced student, very comes from a really good rich family. He's always second to Yunai in school, and kind of likes her, but he also has so much pressure and expectations for him from his family that are kind of just bearing down on him. Okay, so going into my likes and dislikes section. So first off, my likes. I really like the art. I keep saying on here that I don't know much about art, but this art was palatable. It wasn't my favorite, but it was very interesting, if that makes sense. It was kind of rendered in black and white for most of the time, but sometimes colors would be introduced, and it kind of changes the medium. So while you're looking at it through your phone screen, and yeah, it can look 2D at times, the creator or the author or the artist kind of just like makes things look 3D, and that's incredibly interesting. The second one is that it's quite surreal, like very trippy, it just has some really like surrealist elements in it, which I really like. I haven't seen that in a webtoon before I read this one, and I kind of really enjoyed it. The third one is that it sort of reminded me of two of my favorite books. Like it has this kind of like whimsical element, you know what I mean? Like it could be translated into that kind of thing, which is not to invalidate webtoon as its own medium, but I think that if it was like made in like book form, like I can see it among like two of my favorite books. Okay, so the fourth one is that the sister is too cute. Yunai's little sister, she's too adorable. I have a little sibling and he's annoying, but I mean, sure, like you have this like, what's it called? You have this sort of like sibling kind of relationship, which I enjoy. I love seeing sibling relationships. I love how I can feel through without them having to tell me that, oh, she really would love to like envelope her in like ignorance, you know what I mean? And her little sister ignorance, but her little sister knows what's going on. Her little sister is aware that of this situation that they are living in, and she's not a little dick about it. She's so cute, she's just so adorable. This one time she tried to like fix Yunai's like tights. She tried to mend them, but she ended up making more holes in them and tearing through them more. It was really adorable. The fifth one is that it has quite like some creepy vibes. Just kind of ties into the surrealist element, but it has some creepy vibes. Like I said, it has the black and white, has something about the abandoned tent. There's sinister undertones, magic as well. Yeah. And apparently, like the author, I wasn't the only one catching up on that, but the author had worked in other things called Duty After School, and I kind of took like I searched on that and I took like a random page. I just opened up a random chapter and I was like, yeah, okay, I can definitely see it. Like nothing explicitly creepy happened in sorry, I have to look at the name, Annarasumanara. Nothing explicitly happened like that was creepy in it, but it did have those undertones, so I can definitely see the authors or the creators like influence when I saw Duty After School. And funny enough, I'd actually read some of the other work of this creator, God of Bath, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, and also in Duty After School, like I saw a character who reminds me so much of Il-dong. I'll probably put it up somewhere, but yeah. Okay, then the number 6 points is that they thought Elle was creepy, which I liked. The little sister was like, my guy, that guy's mad. I think it was the little sister, either him or the students, and I was like, yeah, that should be your first thought, that the guy is creepy. Please, let's not romanticize lone figures like that. Like, he's cute, but let's just keep it like, yeah, he lives by himself in an abandoned place that is meant to attract children. Like, that's kind of creepy. So I like that they did that. Okay, 7th is that I was feeling the hunger too. Like, there will be days when Unai and the little sister, they're basically fighting over, my guy, please, like, eat the rice, and then the one's like saying, no, I said you should eat it. And I was feeling it too. It was like, it was crazy. I could definitely, like, you could see this, like, the creator would draw their stomachs growling or things like that. It was just like, I could feel it as well. And the 8th one is that Yuna has really got her priorities straight. You know what I mean? Like, she just wants to work hard, get money, and kind of just like make enough for her and her sister to kind of just sustain. You know what I mean? She has no time for any other shit. She's just out here, just minding her business, doing her work. I really love her priorities. They're great. The 9th one is that little things like school trips and you know, having like no cable as well. Like, little, like, I like how that was inputted to show us how like poor they are and how like they're really missing out on things like that. I thought that was really interesting. There was one thing that they did with the cable thing. I thought that was really cool, how the creator kind of like drew the thing. It got like the little sister was just staring at like the screen, you know, when there's nothing on and it's just like this like myriad of like colors, and it's just like there because there's nothing showing. Like, yeah, that was really cool. Number 10, I like the ending. It had like a really like bittersweet ending. Not, well, it wasn't really too bitter, but it was like, oh, it's ending. But I liked how it drew together. I liked how it closed together. If this is spoiler section, well, yeah, this section has been spoilery, but Yunai, she worked as a part-time magician in a restaurant. It was kind of cute. We didn't hear about the magician again after he disappeared. It was like, oh, okay, you know, it warmed my heart. I was like, yeah, this is a nice tying of the bow. I enjoyed it. Number 11, the feeling of studying what you're thinking you have to, I'm an idiot. The feeling of studying what you think will make you money as opposed to studying what you love. I understand that way too much. I related to that way too much. It was just like, oh, okay, we didn't gotta do all this. We didn't gotta like shout out TT's insecurities like this. Like, No, it wasn't. I didn't need that. I didn't need that. But yeah, it was nice to see. I enjoyed seeing that because again, I relate way too much to that. It wasn't like, yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're out here thinking, and I think students and young people really feel this in college, and it's so sad that young people really have to like think of this in this way, like, oh, if I do what I love, I'm probably not going to make money in this life. So let me just do what I can sort of kind of make money out of in the future. Let me struggle through this degree just to get money at the end of the day. Yeah. Okay, so honorable mentions, the bird. I think her name was Beauty. I just liked her. And then Ildong. Now I don't really like Ildong. I mean, I liked him during the end, but when I say Ildong, I just mean that he's a fool. He's just such a fool, and it was rendered there, and I enjoyed to see it when he will have those little like tantrums, or when he'll be thinking something like gleeful. He just comes across as so foolish, and I was like, you're a fool. Okay, going on to my dislike section. I don't like how she lost her money initially, which was kind of like, I mean, it's the inciting incident to how she met the magician, so I guess it had to happen somehow. But she was out here holding her money up like this after she just got like, I was like, my guy, put that thing inside your pocket. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing looking at it like this? You know what I mean? I mean, I guess it was like, oh yes, I finally have money, I can buy whatever I need to buy. But I was like, bitch, put that shit inside your pocket. Like, no. Second one is that is holes in tights ever that deep? Is it ever that deep? Like, these girls in school were just staring at her tights. They were like, damn, is she poor? So on and so forth, blah blah blah. I don't know. Was it ever that deep? I don't know. I've never worn tights. Actually, I have worn tights to school briefly when I was in South Africa. Briefly, because the weather there is they have two different uniforms. So when it was winter, I did wear tights. I don't know. I'm not about to stay here from my place of privilege. I've never worn tights that got to that stage. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't know how it feels to be like, oh, it has gotten to that stage, but I can't afford to buy new ones. You know what I mean? So I don't know how it feels. I don't know how that goes. I wouldn't know. But I'm talking from the vantage point of the other people in class that were questioning her own tights. Like, is it ever that deep? Just face your front. You know what I mean? But yeah. The third one is that Ildong's face is so off-putting. It is so off-putting. I know the creator did it on purpose because we're getting juxtaposed. I'll put his face up here and you will see. We're getting like juxtapositions of everyone calling him so handsome and so brilliant and so smart and so handsome. Like, remember that handsome. And you're just seeing this guy's face and you're like, no. It was just so off-putting. Like, I know the creator had something, and this one, you know what, maybe this is a me thing, not like the author thing, because that was the intention and I can see it. You know what I mean? So I it just really puts me off. Like, it was just disturbing, which I guess was the point. You know what I said? I did say the thing was surreal and it did have creepy vibes, which I enjoyed. So I guess I should not be selective in what I find, you know, just off-putting. But yeah. The fourth one is that he's a douchebag. Again, not a creator thing. I'm sure that, well, I don't know, because when Unai didn't even like reject him fully. She was like, oh, she didn't even say no. When he asked her out. She was like, oh, I think she said I have work to do or something. She even rejected him. No, what she said was that, oh, I've never been on a date before, so I don't know how these things go. So it wasn't even like a rejection, but he just went off the fucking rails. I don't know what went on. I was like, my guy, even if she did reject you, you're not even like fucking entitled to her, for her to reciprocate like any feelings that you have. Like, get out of here. Again, maybe this is a creator thing, maybe a me thing, not a creator thing, because maybe that was intended. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't mind terrible characters, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like Ildong's kind of like the things I have against him. It just keeps stacking up. The fifth one is that what is the correlation between him having a wife and him being a magician? There was this one woman who came to visit L, and Yunai was like, oh my gosh, is that his wife? Because she was pregnant and she was visiting him, and she was like showing him some modicum of like tenderness or whatever, and it was like, oh my gosh, is that his wife? And then she went outside to sulk, and it was like, I thought he was a real magician. Oh no. And this isn't the first time something like that happened, where he would do something and it was like, oh no, I thought he was a real magician, or he would interact with something. I'm like, what does that have to do? What is the correlation? So because he has a wife, he can't be a magician? I don't know where the correlation with that is. I don't get it. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like, I don't know. The sixth one is that I feel Yunai should not have much. She shouldn't be responsible for L's well-being. She shouldn't be responsible for L. You know what I mean? We had the woman telling the pregnant woman, the one I just talked about, telling Yunai that, oh, if anything happens, call me. You know what I mean? Or we got the beauty, the bird, like, don't leave, he needs you. And I'm like, my guy, don't you see she's busy with shit? Don't you see she's just like a high school girl? Like, she shouldn't have to be responsible for this guy. Sorry. Like, he's a fully blown 30. Like, he's 30, guys. He's 30. When I saw that, I choked. I laughed. I was like, what? He's 30. Like, don't get me wrong, he aged really well. The guys, the way they drew him, he's quite an attractive looking guy. But, like, not to be ageist or whatever, but I was like, why I'm using his age is like, he's probably nearly double her age, you know what I mean? And it's like no, he's at least, let's say, 10 years older than her, you know what I mean? It's like, she should not have to be responsible for this guy. It just doesn't make sense, you know? The seventh one is that I don't know. Maybe it's because of what I've read, but it definitely came to me that these people were expecting magic, like fully blown magic, which isn't a bad, which is the bad ones to see, like, which isn't like oh, like a bad thing to want to see, like someone who can actually do magic, pulling from air kind of magic. And it's not like that didn't happen somehow in the end. I don't know how Elle escaped. I don't know. I'm not gonna claim to know. But like, I think there's something really cool in like practical magic in itself. I don't know how to explain it. I wish I did. But I think it has something to do with like just human psychology and just sleight of hand, and I think those are really interesting in and of its own. I kind of enjoy that, and I wish I knew the ins and outs of how to do that kind of magic, because I definitely want to know how to do that kind of magic, and I find it so interesting. But I think that in itself is really cool, you know what I mean? What happened was that at one point this girl, she sort of like spoils one of L's tricks for him. So it shows that, oh, he had like blank cards as well as other cards inside his deck, and that's how he did the magic trick and whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's not cool to be able to spoil the trick, but like, what did you expect? You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't cool for them to see the ins and outs of it. Like, nobody's saying you should expose how you do something, but at the same time, like, it's still going to be some kind of like mechanism or some kind of like, I don't know. Okay, so the eighth thing that I have is that the way they made the mean girl in the story come across was just like after Elle had went off at her for like spoiling his trick. Like, guys, the guy, like, I'm pretty sure he like grabbed her face, like slapped her face really hard, and I was like, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. What she did was a mistake. Sure, the girl's annoying. She's really annoying. She comes across all the place. So, but she's a kid. You know what I mean? She's a kid. She's maybe like 17. I don't know how old she is. Like, okay, they're about to go into university. So, fine. I guess you can say. Because, like, I'm 17. So, I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't, like, act like that. I mean, you won't see me in an abandoned tent for one, but like still, she was with her friends, who was somewhat safe, fine, whatever. Like, I wouldn't act like that. I'm trying to use myself as like a so and so, because I'm a 17-year-old girl. You're not going to see me. Like, I like to not touch things. You know what I mean? I like to be by myself. Sure, like I'm sometimes clumsy, but I try to rein that in when I'm in a place that does not belong to me. You know what I mean? So fine, I get that. Plus, I know to respect someone else's space as a 17-year-old girl. So I'm trying to like not give her so much leeway. But at the same time, for someone I don't even know, a complete stranger, should come and beat me because I made a mistake, because I did something. Nah. That's not on. That's not cool. When you're not my parents, why are you beating me? Why are you touching me? And my parents would never slap me, number one. So like, if my own parents would never touch me in that way, what gives you the right to like, no, like, nah, no. I don't know. Was I supposed to feel bad for Elle in that moment? No, because I didn't. I felt bad for the girl, and yeah, I don't know. I think this is 9th point. I don't know. So the framing of Elle and Unai's relationship was kind of creepy. It was kind of weird. While Unai expressly said that so Elle was like, "Oh, I like you," to Unai, and after that moment happened, she was like, the way he said it was like a child saying, "Oh, I like you," to like his mom or whatever, not which is still a very bad dynamic for them to have. Like, he's a 30-year-old man. Like, I don't know, but that there was still that element of romantic kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, okay, maybe it's the fault of the readers for still trying to make some kind of relationship out of it, but I still manage to think that whatever a reader is getting from a book, at some part of it would be the creator's like fault, no matter how they framed it, you know what I mean? Like, we still got comments like, "Oh yeah, sorry, they're meant to be together, so and so for blah blah," and it's like, no, do you get that he's like 30? Guys, are you getting this? No, that's not. No, I don't know. No. I don't know what number this one is, but I didn't like the romanticization. Is that how to pronounce it? Romanticizing mental illness. I didn't think that was really cool. They never really got to the heart of what Elle had or what he has. I saw some comments from people saying he maybe had auditory and visual hallucinations, which I guess is possible, but like, I would have liked to know that from the creator themselves, because it kind of seemed like they were romanticizing what was going on. I don't know. And then number 9, the rereading quality wasn't fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't. It didn't give me that sense of wow, like, oh my gosh, yes, I wish I had come back to this sooner, you know. Which I don't know. Which maybe is a fault of mine. Some of my favorite books, like those favorite books that I said now, I haven't reread them. I don't like rereading books, number one, especially my favorite books. I haven't gone back to them. Like, I read them once and it was done. I don't think I can ever like recreate that kind of thing. So maybe this thing's supposed to be a one and done kind of thing, but it didn't leave me with that same feeling as something that I read that would be like number one in my books, for me to be like, I can never like get that feeling of how I was originally, because how I was originally wasn't too like, oh wow, like in a sense of wonderment or like bittersweet melancholy that, oh, it's finished, you know what I mean? So yeah, so theory time. So theory time, this is a section in which I kind of like project what I think will happen into like the story, even though the story is finished, you know what I mean? So what I have for you is that Il-dong's going to still grow up on the asphalt road. I think this was symbolism. By the way, the use of symbolism was really good. Like, the way they drew stuff was really, 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 really cool. I liked how they depicted Il-dong's like family. I think it was sort of like satire, the way they over parodied something. Like, they were kind of used like collages of stuff. It was really interesting, like for his house, and for like the way they kind of like put together this like businessman. It kind of felt like a satire, the way they were kind of like putting all these mismatched sort of symbols of what is richness and what is wealth. So I found that very interesting. But yeah, I think he's still gonna grow up, because at the last scene we saw him in law school. I don't know, I it's no fault to him, because at the end of the day, parental pressure, that's a huge thing. And pressure you put on yourself too, that's a very huge thing. If you're going to be like, damn, I don't want to be like, end up not good in life, you know what I mean? So yeah, so my rating, I'm going to give this like a 6.5 out of 10. A 6.5 out of 10, just like a, yeah, just like a and that's not to say I prefer it to the last thing that I reviewed, The Devil is a Handsome Man, which I give a 6 out of 10. The Devil is a Handsome Man is an unfinished webtoon, so that's why I gave it a 6 out of 10, because it's unfinished. There's still stuff to like review at the end. This is a final score. This is 6.5 out of 10. This is final for Annarasumanara. Like, that's it, like 6.5 out of 10, because like there were some things that I liked and some things I didn't like, you know. This comes to my final thoughts now. What I liked about it is that it kind of perfectly encapsulated like anxiety about growing up, like I said, that kind of thing, where like it's just a fear, you know, when you keep on getting older and you know you're going to have to get a job, because you have to get good grades, because you know you have to get into a good university, because you know you have to get a good job, because you're going to have to make money, because God knows you have to be able to like sustain for yourself and your family, like that kind of thing. Like, that's, it's scary. It's really scary. So I like how they kind of like captured that. But thing about it is that I forgot major stuff in it. Like, I was going back when I reread it, I was like, shit, you mean Unai had a sister? I was like, what? Was she always there? You know, like, oh, damn, I forgot. Same with Il-dong's reveal, you know, when his face, which I was part of the whole thing, like, oh, okay, so he's not, this is how the readers are supposed to see Il-dong, and this like huge like head, because he's arrogant or whatever, and so on and so forth. When he finally stepped off the asphalt road and kind of like took, which another thing I like the parallel between El and Il-dong, although that was a bit heavy-handed, which was why it wasn't on my like list. When he finally stepped off the asphalt road and we saw like his face normally, I forgot that they revealed him like that, and that's a pretty major reveal. Now, I'm a forgetful bitch, so like that could be on me. I just have really horrible memory. I just forget stuff, so that could really be on me. That could be my fault, my bad. But I don't know, you know. There was also like, it took quite a bit of time to finish, like a whole week, like around a week to finish, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, there was no sense of urgency for me to be reading through this stuff. Like, it was 27 chapters. There was no reason why I should have taken like a whole last week to finish this something, especially when I was procrastinating. You know what I mean? Like, there was no need. I could have filled that time to reading it. That thing, if you sit down with it, maybe you could be done in like 2 hours or something like that. You know, it's 27 chapters. It's not going to take that long. You know what I mean? But with that 27 chapters, I do respect people for knowing when a story is time to stop. Like, 27 chapters is extremely, I'll say extremely short, but it's short in comparison to like what I've reviewed. Devil is a Handsome Man, that is currently on like 70 something chapters and it's still ongoing. The first one, Girls of the Wild, that is 100 and something chapters. But is it 200 or 100? I can't even remember, but it's long, you know. So yeah, 27 chapters is relatively short, but I enjoy it when a story knows when to stop itself, when it knows to be like, yeah, story's finished, nothing more I can tell, this is the end. We don't want to drag shit on. It was nice to leave some things up to like interpretation, some things up to the readers, like, oh, this might happen or that might happen. Like, it was nice. So yeah, I like the drawing of the closing, you know what I mean? The way it ended, it felt like a magic show, you know what I mean? It felt like this is the drawing of the curtains, like, oh, this is the end, the velvet curtains closing together, you know what I mean? It felt very like, what's that thing called? Cathartic. It felt cathartic. Yeah, so that was it. So yeah, that is my review for Annarasumanara, yeah. Oh, by the way, apparently it's supposed to be like kind of like a Korean like interpretation of the word abracadabra, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that is my review. So yeah, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, smash all the fucking buttons. So just do it, and you know, comment. I really want to know what your thoughts are. Tell me if like, yeah, TT, you completely validated what I've been thinking all this time. Thank you, you're someone who has said it in words. Or tell me if you disliked it and you're like, nah, no, TT, you're completely wrong. Like, square up, like, you're wrong. You know what I mean? So yeah, do all that, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.